everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we at the Brick Foundation are excited to share with you our new Brick badges. While we have people popping on, we'll just go ahead and do a round of introductions. So I will pass it over to Nicole Hendricks and Allison Mann, who are the co-founders of Brick.
Hello, thank you all so much for being here today. We've been working on this program for about 2.5 years now, so we're very excited that it's ready to share with you all. I'm the executive director of BRIC. We focus on getting women and people from historically excluded groups into entertainment, media, and tech. We do a lot of workforce programs like an apprenticeship. We work with schools on pre-apprenticeships, and we just work very closely to try to improve the employment pathways between just whether it's K-12 into industry or just making sure that more diverse people are entering in and moving into leadership, which is why we're so thankful for this program as a way to make sure that whether you're at an art school or whether you're in LA, you're being able to be seen by industry recruiters and people that have that expertise, like my co-founder, Allison Mann.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Allison Mann, co-founder of the Brick Foundation. I've been in animation and gaming for over 20 years. I've worked at almost every major animation studio. I started off actually as an artist and then went to the business side of our industry. And then I started off at Nickelodeon Animation Studio as a creative recruiter. I did that job from Nickelodeon to the Walt Disney Animation Studio to Disney to Zynga to Disney Interactive to Paramount Animation. And then my job started flipping to being a little bit more development between Illumination and Sony Pictures Animation. And now I'm a rep. So I rep writers and directors and creators in animation and the live action space, on top of doing all things Brick related. And for me, throughout my career, it was always a challenge of getting people into the studios, of breaking down the barriers, creating opportunity. And yes, there's internship programs. Yes, there's fellowship programs that the studios did, but something that I noticed was there was still a gap in accessibility into our very privileged industry. So I think this goes into supporting one of my goals, which is about creating access points and breaking down those barriers and allowing people an alternative pathway to getting into our industry beyond the typical college route, and also having accessibility to and feedback from some of the great recruiters and industry professionals of our industry in general. So what I'm excited about this badging program specifically is its ability to have that immediate connection, hear that feedback, and then also work on skill set. So if you get feedback that maybe your lighting isn't strong enough in something that you submitted, then you can hear exactly what you needed to do in order to get that specific kind of check mark onto that badge of yours. So this is a way for us to kind of build up, showcase, and because it's all industry professionals, you're kind of already breaking down that barrier. I'll pass it on to Stacy. Popcorn to you.
Yeah. My name is Stacy Snyder. I am building the badges for the Brick Foundation. So the system and how it all works has been under my purview, and I'm really excited to share more about how you can access the badges and the process for submitting, and to hopefully make that as clear as possible. I also want to make sure we have an opportunity to introduce Matthew Waney, and he has been a part of this process as well, from the education side. I'll pass that over to you.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm Matthew Waney. I've worked in education for over 20 years. I actually teach at a Title I school in Los Angeles, both animation and video production. Education director for BRIC, and have been a great part of just sort of bringing these resources, bringing these elements to high schools out there, to kids who have graduated, who are looking for that entry into the animation, game, or VFX industries. So again, these badges I think are really out there to be able to bring people that opportunity to sort of showcase what they've been able to do, and also sort of see where their gaps might be, to see what they can continue to work on to be able to strengthen their portfolio as well. So it's been a great sort of help put this together. Assisting Stacy here, and I look forward to talking and sharing more about it. I'll hand it over to back to you, Stacy, over to Sarah.
Amazing. We also have a few BRIC support team on the call to help us with anything. So if you do have questions for us, we will be doing Q&A after the call. Feel free to put questions in there and we can make sure to answer them after we have our information session, and we'll move into the Q&A. And we love seeing you in the chat. Thank you so much for everyone who's participating in the chat, letting us know where you're from, so we can get to know you a little bit better. So as we move into this next section, what are these skill-based digital badges? Nicole, can you explain exactly what these badges are?
Yeah, so at the BRIC Summit, which is our yearly think tank where we connect educators, industry change makers, a lot of recruiters, talent development, outreach humans, along with activists and just indie creators and emerging talent. We did a working session on what is a way for you to really communicate that you have these skills, right? Because it's like, we know if you got a degree from X school, we know we're vouching for that degree, but that's not equitable. So we had the previous year work together on connecting what are the skills needed to enter into an entry-level role. How do we backwards map that into California public schools K-12? So in your free and public education, you're getting industry-approved knowledge. And then we had a lot of schools reaching out from us from all over the world saying, come and help my school. And we're like, we are a small team. You are looking at our entire team. Minus Sochi, and who's over at HRTP stuff. So we needed to find a way to just really improve the equity of this in a way that we could scale it with our team. So we took all those core standards from industry recruiters and industry professionals. We turned them into a portfolio-based badging system. So it's a very clear kind of rubric on specific skills. They're also all competencies for our apprenticeship program. So it's also a way for you that even if you don't necessarily have an on-the-job placement, you're able to still showcase that you do have these skills. So whether it's getting into an apprenticeship program or getting your entry-level role, or whether you're an emerging talent trying to make a career transition, it's just a great way that is recognized by industry to show that you have achieved that competency in whether it's art or perspective or many other badges that we have.
Exactly. And this badge, once earned, can be displayed on your resume, can be displayed on LinkedIn. So you can really make that stand out when applying for jobs or just introducing yourself to people. All of the badges are reviewed by professionals. So you are getting that stamp of approval from people who know exactly what it is that they're looking for in entry-level positions. And you're verifying to the world that these are skill-based. You have the skills that this badge says you do, which can really help recruiters move through and find a candidate, especially if they need to fill something quickly. I'd love to share which badges that we have available, so I'm going to share my screen. And as you can see, we have 16 badges to start. So there's quite a lot here, and it really covers a lot of different career paths. Some can be combined into certain career paths, but overall, we have essential skills, which is understanding the industry roles and pipelines. We have fundamental skills, including life drawing, anatomy perspective, character design and posing, mood, color, and lighting. And then we have basic technical skills, so visual development and concept art, layout and environment, writing and storytelling, storyboarding, budget and scheduling, audio. So you can see there are quite different viewpoints here that are covered. Basic effects, game design, prop vehicle design, previs virtual production, mocap, and technical pipeline. So depending on what you're looking to do in your career or in your future, you can combine these skill-based badges to show recruiters all of the competencies that you have. And I'll leave this up for a little while as we continue on. So Nicole and Allison and Matthew Waney, if you could tell us a little bit more about the process of making these badges, who helped create the foundation for this, and what did that process look like?
Right. So after we did the whole like surveys and collation and putting things there, that was really kicked over to Allison Mann and her team of recruiters. So Allison, do you want to talk about the recruiting team and how you all created those rubrics?
Yeah, so we did a combination since we've all worked in the industry and we all write job descriptions. We kind of looked at what like kind of the skill set and job requirements are for these certain positions, and we tied them into the rubric and what we created for kind of the teachers across the board. So everything was a correlation and a 1-for-1, and everybody had an understanding. And so we had recruiters from a lot of the major studios, a lot of the major gaming studios. Some of them are like Skydance and Marvel. Some of them are over at Bungie that just reviewed everything, made sure it made sense to them, and then it just kind of all came together that way. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we were asking lived in a job description that you would apply for in today's standards.
And Ann Whitney was just able to join us. Ann Whitney is a day one brick person. We're very thankful to have her. She's also over at Skydance Animation. Ann Whitney, when you were working with Allison on these, can you share some of your thought process? Also, introduce yourself. Sorry, I just kind of did a half intro for you, but yeah, thank you for being
Oh,
here.
you're good. Yeah, my name's Ann Whitney. I'm the manager of talent acquisition over at Skydance Animation. We're a newer animation studio, but we've had films come out like Luck and a short film that I'm repping behind me, Blush. And prior to that, I worked with Allison actually at Illumination. So been in the animation sphere for a couple years now, but I've also worked at companies like NBC Universal. And then thought process on the badging. Oh, thanks for the shout out for Blush. So the process on the badging, I think Allison and I, when we were talking with different like groups and recruiters, we wanted it to make it accessible, but also have some goals that people could hit while looking at the badging, and hopefully make it comprehensive enough and highlight cues within the industry that we're always looking for when we are reviewing portfolios, and different kind of disciplines like that. I feel like I jumped in at Allison explaining it and I agreed with everything that she said.
Amazing. And this all came from the core competencies that were developed over a year and a half, over a year. Matthew, is that right?
Yeah. The other function I serve for BRIC is I helped to write the apprenticeship program that got approved both at the state level and at the federal level. And so after Ann Whitney and Allison and the team sort of went through stuff, I just did a sort of an educational check just to make sure this stuff, one, went back to the competencies that were in the apprenticeship program. So again, as you pass and get these badges, it will make your application stronger to be an applicant for the BRIC apprenticeship program. But then also tied it back to the high school California guidelines that they're currently updating their standards. So then even as high school teachers and even middle school teachers can get a sense of like what to start building their kids for. Because ultimately it's about building that stronger pipeline. So taking it all the way back to middle school and high school, all the way up through the apprenticeship program and ultimately to that first entry level job that people are looking to get. We just wanted to make sure everything kind of lined up with that. So even at the most basic levels, fundamentals of drawing and things like that, the middle school, high school kids can start with that and then keep continuing to improve their skills from there.
Awesome. It's so important that they all tie in together, so we're really rowing the boat in one direction. Amazing. I'm going to take a moment to walk through what the course looks like on the inside, so how you would submit your badge. I'll do that fairly quickly and explain a little bit more about the process. So let me share my screen here. Amazing. So when you sign up for a badge, there's an overview of everything that you'll need in the welcome email, which walks you through this process step by step with photos. Everyone learns differently, so I want to make sure that you have everything that you need. So say you want to sign up for visual development and concept art. This will walk you through essentially this entire quote unquote course is to prepare you to submit your portfolio. So here we talk a little bit about what this badge means and what the criteria are for completion. So this is really just giving you an understanding of what this badge is. When you move to the next section, we ask for personal information. This is not seen by the recruiters. This does not affect your determination in any way. It just helps us understand who is accessing these badges and are we making sure that we are bringing this material to all of the people that we want to be bringing this to. So you fill out your personal information here. Again, that is not used in any way in your determination or shared with anyone else outside of our own data collection. Then you head over to the rubric. So we want you to know exactly how you are being reviewed so that you can have a really clear understanding of what we're looking for and how you can hit it. So for example, for visual development and concept art, the 5 areas are lighting, form and values, atmospheric understanding, mood, and color keys, with a little bit more description so that you can understand the mindset of the recruiter. You can also download the rubric here. Let's see, we can preview it. So you can see on the 0 to 4 scale, are they highly effective, progressing, ineffective, or it's not actually in their portfolio. So you'll want to make sure that these pieces are represented in your portfolio so you can get an appropriate review. And this last piece here is the portfolio preparation and submission. So it tells you exactly what you need, at least the minimum of what you need to be submitting. So for example, you need at least 2 examples of character design or environment art, breakdown of art elements in the work, and at least 1 example of a finished visual storytelling piece that includes characters and environments together. So you know that these are the things that you need to submit in order to be reviewed. There sometimes are optional pieces that you can add. And then it also lets you know in what kind of format. So we are using the Canoe platform and they do have things set up a certain way. So to make it easy for everyone, we wanted you to see how you can do it. So you can do images, JPEG, GIF, PNG, SVG. You can also do a PDF. Different badges will ask for different things. Some of them will ask for video files, some will ask for audio files, some will ask for images, some will ask for documents. So it really depends, like obviously storytelling, you're going to need some documents. Audio, you're going to need some audio. So those are different for each badge. And then you submit your portfolio over here. So it gives you, again, the pieces of the rubric here, the grading criteria. And at the bottom, you can submit. So in here you go and you drag and drop your files and submit your assignment. 2 things about this, you can take as long as you want. You can move through this and you can upload a few things, come back. You can look at the requirements and spend some time making sure that your I'm so sorry. Let me move back to sessions. Making sure that your portfolio has everything that we're asking for it to have in order to assess it fairly. So there's no rush on this part. And then once you submit, the recruiters will have 30 days to review and respond with a determination. So either you pass and you get the badge, or you get feedback that, like we said earlier in this call, if implemented, would help you earn that badge. So very specific feedback on how to do that. And you can submit again 1 time for free. So please feel free to utilize that. There's no time limit on that. So if you get feedback, you can take your time integrating it, making sure it's in there exactly how you want it, and then resubmit for free. So you do have that 1 free resubmit on every badge that you acquire. And that is a pretty big overview, but again, the course is really just designed to help you set up your portfolio so that you can submit it easily and the recruiters can see it and make a determination. Is there anything in particular to our reviewers that you are looking for? Are there any tips or tricks or anything that is really important for you to see in these portfolios kind of across all the badges?
As I was doing some of it, I mean, in general, we look at lots of portfolios and we have a wide kind of knowledge of the industry. I think when you're submitting, using that really as a checklist of like everything that you want to put, like that needs to be into that for the reviewers. If it's not in there, then we may kind of move forward and not give you kind of the best scores. So we are looking for very specific things. So if like I was reviewing mood, color, and lighting, and I felt like there wasn't enough examples of showcasing like the depth of needing to showcase that you have an understanding in that specific area, or like you have enough and kind of gives me the answers I need. So when we're grading, I mean, this is our stamp of approval. So other recruiters in the industry know that we looked at it and we are like, yeah, this person is ready. So make sure that a lot of it is about observation of the industry. Like, is my work, if I'm going for a job at Skydance, who are the artists that are working at Skydance? What do their portfolios look like that are doing the stuff that I'm trying to submit for my portfolios? Look at some of the art of book. I think that gives you a really good sense of like kind of the level and calibration that we're looking at and looking for. So it's not going to be you know it's not going to be easy, but we're hoping that with feedback and and the process that you continue submitting and learning and growing, because that's something that as recruiters we look for as well. That goes a long way. So if you don't get it the first time and you don't get that stamp of approval, then please continue to submit and continue to evolve what your you know what you're trying, your aim is for, and ask questions. Like, I think you have the ability to be like, can you give me some clarity here? Like, what should I do in this specific instance? Do you have any resources? Like, this gives you again some insight, so you're not going in without any context or understanding of how to get in or what we look for. And Whitney, is there anything you would want to add?
I was going to say something similar along the lines of research. What's nice is you have the internet, so go out and do your research on studios that you would love to work for and pull portfolios. Maybe you start with a favorite movie. Maybe your favorite movie is Spider-Verse and you just pull the IMDb credits. Like, that's all free. And then when you Google that person, you'll see portfolios kind of put together. And while we don't want you to copy or try and kind of mimic the portfolio, what you'll see is if you're going for a character design opportunity, that all the character designers on Spider-Verse are very different and have very different strengths, but there are certain through lines within those characters. So like, even if the autonomy is pushed, they still have the autonomy, but it's in a caricatured way, and they keep kind of things concise and consistent. The proportions of their characters are similar, and even if it is pushed, it feels like something that could walk around and be kind of a being within that universe. Line is super important to pay attention to. So what are the consistencies that you're seeing within those films and studios? And even if you're not at that full level yet, could you get there with some work and some feedback? And maybe you just need that direction. So if you do that research and kind of figure out, okay, where am I within this? And what are areas I can work on? So while you are working on that and applying to the badge, maybe you'll get some feedback that's a match. But I think starting with that research and kind of submitting from there is really, really important. And then there is a quality versus quantity to work. So you do have to have a certain amount of work for us to view. Like, if you have one really great piece and I'm really excited about it, I need to see that one or two more times, and it has to be at the same level. So make sure you have an editor's eye, but enough work for us to be able to grade within that.
Amazing. I appreciate all of that advice to really help people be set up so their first submission is as powerful as possible. So really making sure they are doing that research and seeing what's around. Awesome. So these badges, as we've talked about, are really on the individual level, are really helpful. These are also set up and can be purchased by schools, by professional organizations, by nonprofits, in bundles to support their talent, their students. So we do have that individual one-on-one connection, but we're also really excited to work with larger organizations and schools to provide these opportunities for students and talent. Amazing. I think that's about all of the overview. Did anyone else want to add anything? I'm going to put our website also in the chat so you can check out the website, which covers a lot of what we just talked about today.
There's a question in the Q&A open that I realized I don't know the answer to. Stacy, I don't know if you're able to answer that one.
Great. Will badge applicants receive a graded rubric after submission, or is the rubric more for reference? So yes, I believe you do actually get to see your score on the different pieces. And so you get the rubric ahead of time so you can know what it's all going to look like. And then you can look at your grade. So you'd have to log back into the portal and go look at your coursework, and you can see the grade so you can see where that is. Absolutely, which is really exciting. Did we have any other questions that we wanted to cover?
I'd like to talk about cost. There was a anonymous question in the chat, and I just wanted to, for those of you that aren't like in the Q&A function, basically badges are free for apprentices and pre-apprenticeship schools and districts. We have lots of pre-apprenticeship schools and districts, more coming on every day. And then from there, we have partnerships with people like Access VFX, which is a free mentorship-based organization. And then Animation Advocacy Collab, which I don't know if you're aware of them because we don't normally brand ourselves, but that's like Brick Foundation, Latinx Animation, Asians in Animation, Asian Queens in Animation, Black and Animated, Diverse Toons, Legends Animated. I'm sure I'm missing someone because I just did a big list. I'm not looking at it. Brick believes in partnerships, like HRTP Higher Training Partnership is all about partnerships. So it's one of those things where we do need to charge because obviously we're giving a lot of discounts to a lot of people and we want to maintain the integrity. If it was just Nicole Hendricks awarding these badges, they'd be free. But that wouldn't mean a lot, right? We have to pay this amazing team of recruiters that we're bringing on more and more each day in order to keep that industry role so it means something. But yeah, I mean, we're not ever going to be like Adobe pricing. Nothing against Adobe. They're Adobe. They're amazing, right? But we do need to be able to pay our recruiters. Yeah.
Exactly. And so right now the badges are set for $50 each. And we are sending out a launch coupon code to everyone here that will be 50% off badges. So you'll have an opportunity to access these badges for half off. And yes, if you are a part of any of those member organizations, definitely let them know you're interested. We will have coupon codes for our partner organizations as well. And like Nicole said, badges will be free for our apprentices. So there's lots of different opportunities and ways to engage. And yeah, and we're really excited to have you be a part of this community with us.
Another really good question from Anise. Can we talk a little more about the less artistic options, specifically like understanding industry roles and pipelines? What does that look like?
Absolutely. So if you're on the website, you can see each of the badges here towards the bottom. And you know what? I will actually just show you because I think it's pretty beautiful.
Stacey did an amazing job building the website. It is our prettiest page on our site.
I mean, they didn't have to know I'm complimenting my own work, but here we are.
But it was beautiful.
So we have information about the launch. We'll have the launch coupon code as a banner here. You know, what is it and who are these for? We'll be putting up information about which recruiters are working with us so you can see their credentials and understand how that all works and our benefits of why these digital badges are going to make an impact and going to be helpful. So you can see under here, like industry roles and pipelines, it has a bit of a description. So what the requirements are and what you can add as well. So this one really demonstrates a knowledge of the entertainment industry and how their focus fits within a production timeline. So you are asked to write up about news outlets that are reputable and trustworthy, their point of view, your assessment on how trustworthy they are, the state of the industry and trends, how you feel like the industry is moving. Something like writing and storytelling, we're asking for pitch breakdowns, a page of completed dialogue, a character's arc from the story, and a breakdown on themes and how they impact the story. So those are still more creative. I'd say maybe technical pipeline you can see here as well. How can you integrate programming with art to solve production problems or enhance an artist or animator's visual content? So we have a few different pieces on how we want you to showcase that you have those skills. So not just artistic skills, but also industry skills that will be useful for a number of career pathways.
And again, everything is backwards mapping to the registered apprenticeship competencies. So this is all part of our apprenticeship program as well. Budgeting and scheduling is one that will be coming online soon. I'm very excited about that one. And then audio is very exciting as well. That's very different. We did submit some stems, and we're very excited for the person awarding that badge. Gotta love Apple integrating into everything. And so that one is going to be awarded by an award-winning engineer. And so it's exciting to just have industry professionals across every field doing these things.
Yeah, and just to add, if you're wondering, like the fundamentals, like if you're doing research, that goes straight towards development and like applicable jobs within the pipeline that I don't think a lot of people think of. So like development, you would have to research and know the industry really well. The budgeting one, that's going to go straight towards production and production assistant roles. So those are all very applicable skills within the animation pipeline, even if it seems like, oh, I'm doing a research project. Well, development is 90% research a lot of the time and networking and knowing who the players are and what the industry is like and who's available.
Yeah, and so especially for that understanding industry roles, we're looking for, do you have the skill set and the critical thinking to go and do that research? We're not going to ask you to answer every single question about the entire industry, but when you are called to go find that information, do you have the skills to discern what's going on in the industry? When will these badges and tracks open up? Great question. We are launching them on Monday. So again, you'll get yay. You'll receive an email about that with our coupon code and a link so you can take a look at these and join. Yeah, we're very excited. This has been a long time coming, and we're very excited to be bringing these to the world. Please feel free if there are any other questions, if you want us to reiterate anything, we're here. Let's see, I'm looking through the answered questions, see if there's anything. Oh, great. All right. Oh, thanks for the compliments on the website and the party hat. Appreciate that. Great. Is there anything else that we want to share with our audience besides, good luck, and we're rooting for you and we're on your side, and we're really looking forward to seeing your submissions and seeing your artwork, your creativity, your brain space, all of that good stuff.
And I do have my email there. Like if you have any thoughts, feelings, suggestions, an area that you feel like we could be doing more outreach in. Like I cannot express to you enough that we are entertainment professionals first and foremost, and there's nothing more collaborative than entertainment. So always happy to expand who we are collaborating with and bring more people into the BRIC family. Family is not what we should say. Bring more people in, because that's there's a whole capitalism hustle culture thing, right? Like we're not a family. We're very close, into the BRIC coalition. There we go.
Amazing.
Great.
Well, thank you everyone for joining, and reach out if you have any other questions. Is there one more question?
One more
Are there,
question.
and is there a limit to how many badges you can do?
Nope, you can
Nope.
you can go for every single badge if that is going to support you in your goals. Absolutely. We're also going to be in a stage 2 after this launch gets going and things are running, looking at doing bundles. So depending on career tracks, putting together the various badges that would be specifically helpful for that career track to make it a little easier for people to understand which ones to go for if they're looking for certain jobs. Yay. Again, feel free to email us, check out the website. If you have more questions or something comes to you later, we want to hear about it. But thank you for spending some of your time with us. We really look forward to seeing your work. Awesome. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.